Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got LarryHa playing the Tier 9 Imperial Japanese Navy destroyer Yūgumo. He is divisioned with Alpha Radagast playing the Tier 9 Japanese battleship Izumo, and with Bly playing the Tier 9 Russian premium destroyer Nostroshimi. So we've got 3 ICOPs in a division. Matchmaking, well, for starters, no CV. That's a big deal. There is a Kearsarge, so you got to be careful because you can still get spotted. If you're not familiar, Kearsarge is essentially an Iowa with some aircraft. It's been my experience watching people play the Kearsarge that very often the novelty of the aircraft really can detract from their ability to play the battleship effectively. We'll see how that goes in this game. But I think a lot of players, oh neat, I've got aircraft, and they launch the planes, and you don't have any control over the ship when that's happening. So me, I think if I did have the ship, the aircraft would probably be, well, I would use aircraft basically just for spotting. You know, if I was going to push into an area, I could use the aircraft to spot, maybe make one attack strike before I recall them, that kind of thing. If somebody's chasing me, use them to spot somebody, and then drop a fighter, or if possible. I don't even know what the capabilities are, but I think knowing where the bad guys are would probably be the chief use of that. We'll see how this guy does in this game. But, of course, our focus here is going to be our hero, LarryHa. And he's got, he's got support in the form of Nostroshimi and Izumo for sure, but he's also got on this side an Azuma and an Iowa, and there's an Alaska out on his starboard side. And Larry pushes aggressively right into the cap, which, I kind of applaud. You can see that he's got the radio location skill, which is fantastic. But somebody on the enemy team does as well, because you can see that there's a little indicator there saying located. And Larry stops just in time to avoid getting blapped. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Yūgumo, you can see you've got 2 torpedo racks, 4 torpedoes per rack, but you also have the option, which Larry is taking advantage of here, rather than smoke, of taking a reload booster. Now, Larry got himself really close to the Missouri, and he is now radared, and this is going to be a really close thing. Larry spins the screws the other way, and he's able to avoid not only the torpedo, but the shells that were coming in. Really nicely done. And he just throws the second set into that gap in the hope of maybe catching somebody. If the rune turned to its starboard side, maybe it does, but no, he's going the other way. And there's a lot of torpedoes here, which kind of suggests that the venom is here. Larry gets hit fairly hard and says, "We've got the cap, let's get out of here." And the Missouri is at 5.3 clicks. Somebody's back there throwing shells out of smoke. Rune is safely out of harm's way. And the Rune appears to be pushing the friendly Fletcher. Now, the bad guys have lost the Yūgumo, which you can see happened at the south end of the Bravo cap. Alpha's nose into the bad guys. Care Bear KLR here in the Iowa is nose into the bad guys and reversing. Now, we know there are 2 red destroyers that were on this side, the ZF-6 and the Venom. So there could be a swarm of torpedoes at any time. And that makes running broadside to the likely angle of attack of those torpedoes really risky. Now, Larry appears to have noticed that the cap is now flipping, and he and Bly are both headed back toward the cap. Yeah, those have got to be Venom torpedoes, which means there may be another set that shows up here anytime. A little risky to make this turn here. He's going to be detected by the ZF6. He doesn't have smoke, right? He's got just the reload booster. So he puts the guns to work. And he does manage to finish off the ZF6. I might have been tempted there to zoom back out so I could see where the torpedoes were, but there he just tanks on through. I guess figures I'm already running full speed away from where I can hear him coming. I'm either going to get away from him or they're going to catch me, but zooming back out isn't going to make any difference. Bly gets caught by a torpedo from the ZF6 and is sunk. Udaloy floods out the friendly Aegir. And the good guys are now down 2 ships. Bad guys are down 3. I kind of give the edge here to the good guys because the bad guys have lost Venom, ZF6, and Yūgumo, leaving only Udaloy, which is much more of a gunboat than a torpedo boat. And it gives, at least in my opinion, a huge spotting advantage to the good guys. But, again, there is a Kearsarge on the other team. It remains to be seen what use that player will be able to make of those aircraft. The Lion scoots behind the island, trying to stay the heck out of the way. And Larry says, nope, not going to allow that. He's out of radar range of the Missouri. We also know there's an Ibuki over here, which hits very hard. I wonder if that's what hit him earlier. So the good guys have all 3 caps, although the Alpha cap is currently being contested. Bad guys are now down 4 ships, having lost the Rune. And this is just looking better and better for the good guys. Now you notice the range on these torpedoes is 12 kilometers. And because the only radar on the enemy team is in the form of the Missouri and the Alaska, we know there's no 12-kilometer radar to have to worry about. And Larry can get a little bit closer. Udaloy burns down the Iowa, and the friendly Yūgumo finishes off the enemy Musashi. Good guys now down 3 ships, bad guys down 5. This just looks better and better for the good guys. And Larry is doing a little bit of window looking here, but he wanted to make sure he could get his torpedoes away. And decides he's not going to push any closer. I question throwing those torpedoes out there, only because both of those battleships are moving away. And some time ago, they changed the mechanics as far as running along the map edge like this. It really slows your ship down if you're there for any time now. And that's kind of what Larry's dealing with. It's a little bit tougher to get back off the map edge as the Udaloy takes out the friendly Yūgumo. And this game just got a little bit closer. Now you can look at the number of ships. You know, good guys are down 4 ships, bad guys are down 5, and that's close. But in terms of points, the good guys have all 3 caps. The good guys have roughly 500 point. Well, that's just dropped considerably, losing Alpha and the Yūgumo. Ibuki finishes him off. But still, a really significant points lead. Alf seems to debate about whether to throw the torpedoes, and does. I think he's going to lose 1 here to the island. Yeah. Still, 3 of the torpedoes got through. And maybe he catches somebody coming through that way. 4 seconds, he'll have another batch. And he does have the reload booster available as well. So potentially another 12 torpedoes to be thrown out here. He's finished off 2 ships, even though he's only done 14,401 damage. And taking out that Venom early, really a big deal. Venom is a terrible threat. The number of torpedoes that thing can throw out is really kind of remarkable. And both teams now down 5 ships. It remains to be seen whether the bad guys are going to be able to pick up another cap. They did secure the Alpha cap. And that's going to help. I mean, that'll staunch the flow of points that they were losing every, 6 seconds. But only by a third. Bad guys have C pretty well in hand. You can see that the friendly Iowas are angled reasonably well. The Iowa that's farthest to the south, that's on the Gulf line, he's sitting pretty well right angles to the Missouri, and the Missouri is liable to make him pay for that. So Mark, I think he really dodged a bullet there, quite literally. He's turning in now, changing his angle to the Missouri a little bit. He's really lucky he didn't get blapped there. Meanwhile, Larry says, you know what? I am going to push in and try to catch this Missouri unaware. Now he's got a minute and 10 seconds till his torpedoes come back up, but in a pinch, he does have his reload booster. And he catches Missouri, who started to move forward, lands 4 torpedoes, and just takes the Missouri out of the game. That's kill number 3. If you're keeping track, that was 2 destroyers and a Missouri. And now a total of just shy of 65,000 damage. The bad guys are really on the ropes here. The good guys are now down 6 ships, same as the bad guys. But the good guys have a 2-cap-to-1 advantage, and they are pressing their attack. You can see Alaska is sitting up front now. It's making use of an island to limit the amount of damage that the Iowa and Ibuki to the south can do. It's kind of nose in to the enemy Alaska. The Kearsarge, well, he's kind of behind an island at this point himself. Really probably doesn't have a clean shot on the Alaska. Hopefully the Alaska won't continue to move forward, our friendly Alaska. But regardless, this game may be over fairly soon. I'm watching the Kearsarge. I'm watching him change his angle. If the Yūgumo is able to catch Kearsarge as he pushes forward, that could be pretty devastating for Kearsarge. You can see Kearsarge now has aircraft in the air. I think he's going to try and strike the Alaska. And Larry is just trying to get back in the game. Enemy Iowa finally gets a shot on the Alaska and takes him out. Now the Lion he's really taking a chance here, but the bad guys don't really have much of a choice. They kind of have to push. They need to secure another cap, or at least get in and contest these caps to stop those points. Still a lot of time, almost 7.5 minutes left in the game, but it's looking really dire for the bad guys right now. And Larry is getting nice and close, which is really great. Checks the indicator, decides to narrow the spread. And I think that's a good call. Lion, he was just moving as though he didn't have any awareness of the possibility of an enemy destroyer out here. The fact that he's detected, he may think that there's a destroyer north of him, which actually works to Larry's advantage. Now Larry has to make sure he doesn't get detected. You can see the Lion put an aircraft up. He's got to make sure he doesn't get spotted. And that's going to be it for the Lion. Nice job, Larry. That was a great drop. Looks like Lion was trying to turn in and slow down, but it just wasn't enough, and Larry's torpedoes catch him and finish him off. And this is almost certainly over now, as the good guys have almost 900, well now they have 952 points. So I will say, Larry, great game, man. 4 kills, just shy of 83,000 damage. Way to go, ICOP. Way to go. 4 kills, 7 torpedo hits. Solid game, brother. I'll see you next time.